was so caught on the Joe disses that I missed the Migos part. Let me just go ahead and say, first the fat boys break up, and every day I wake up, somebody got a problem with. What's up, y'all? Cause all fed up cause I got a little cheddar and my breakers moving out the stove. Come on now. Classic stuff. Classic. If not, if you don't know that one, which you should. What about Poor Me? Dad was gone. Finally got my dad back. Liver back. He wouldn't live long. They snatched my dad back. Honest, I never had that. Streets, my second home. Welcome me with open arms. Provided a place to crash it. Come on now. Let me chill. Let me chill. You read the title. We had to get to the end of it, and now here we are. Let me do a little rundown. First of all, guess who's still smell it all? It's me. Screw. Shout out to all the new subscribers. If you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I drop videos every day. I'm dropping like 3 a day now. Yeah, maybe so. Just keep checking on the channel. So M had a verse leaked, his original bang verse, which contained some disses to Diddy, Revolt, and Joe Budden and MGK. That leaked out. You know what I mean? And Joe Budden reacted. I reacted to it. Joe Budden reacted to it. I reacted to Joe Budden's reaction. It was basically kind of like what I knew he was going to do. Except for Rory. Rory came through. You know what, M? Stay right here. He tried to he's trying to rap on him. But here we go now. This is the video about Eminem and Revolt beefing, and then we'll get into what happened afterwards after this. But yeah, here we go.
Guys,
it's
so
from Hip Hop DX.
Revolt TV clearly isn't messing around. Not long after the original version of Conway's 2019 single Bang leaked, the Diddy-owned media outlet has issued a response to one of its contributors. Toward the end of the track, Eminem takes shots at Joe Budden and Diddy's Revolt TV with, "Yeah, shout to Puffy Combs, but Revolt. Y'all are like a f***ed up remote. Now I get it why our buttons broke, cause you pressing the heat but do nothing though. Especially when it comes to punch this throne. Wasted tissue, tell this journalist stick to the stuff he know, like always running for Migos."
Now, when I reacted to that song originally, I had missed that bar. I missed that bar. A lot of people said in the comment section, I missed that bar. I was so caught on the Joe disses that I missed the Migos part. Let me just go ahead and say, You ridiculous, son. You ridiculous. You're ridiculous. You're a ridiculous person. But so that's the original diss on the Bang song.
On Monday, June 22nd, Revolt replied to M's verse via Twitter with a simple "F you too" at Eminem.
Now, this is Revolt's response to M. First of all, I want to give credit to Revolt for just, first of all, not being afraid to respond quickly. You know, they're not rappers. It's an organization, so this is how they do it. Quickly, you know what I mean? And reacted in a way that said they didn't give a flying F. There's no political, jargon to it. It was just F you too. I don't think I've ever seen a company tweet F you too to somebody, which is, hey, you came for the smoke, you know what I mean? M didn't want that verse to be leaked though, but
it didn't take long for Revolt to share the same sentiment on Instagram, this time in bold letters. "You too, Eminem, Revolt," they wrote in all caps. Conway originally dropped Bang last July, which found M dissing everyone from Iggy Azalea and Cannabis to Ja Rule. Around this time, Shady was still seething over the lukewarm reception his 2017 effort Revival received from mainstream media, Budden included. M proved he still wasn't over it when he took aim at Budden yet again on 2019's Music to Be Murdered By, referring to him as Trader Joe. Budden addressed it on an episode of the Joe Budden podcast shortly after its release. "Trader Joe, Trader Joe, Trader Joe, that's hurtful," Budden said. "That's not right. That's offensive, man. Trader Joe? I'm Joe. You're telling me Joe is a traitor?"
It sounds a lot weirder when they just read it, but if you listen to how he said it, I think it was a bit more sarcastic, a bit more like tongue-in-cheek. M has fired off a lot of shots at Joe. One thing I will say though is that the problem comes when people just can't be honest on all sides. You know, there has to be the machismo of just being a man and on top of being a rapper, that we all got to protect our egos and stuff. But at the end of the day, the reason why M keeps firing at him and firing at people who make fun of him is because M is very sensitive about his music. It's obvious. And if you're an artist, we all are. We all are. And we have to act like we're not. That's why we don't like it when people, you know, don't like our stuff. We would much rather make music that everybody that listens to likes, but that's impossible. You feel me? And I think it hurt him, because I noticed the people that hurt M the most, I think, is the people that he keeps going. And Joe, you know, even if Joe has take light jabs at him on the podcast also, I think M's hurt comes from, and it's okay to be hurt. We act like it's not. His hurt comes from how close he probably thought Joe was to his whole cipher, and then to come out and do that. So
the same way I feel like Eminem should stop dissing Lord Jamar, he should stop dissing me. Hey, whatever we had, that exchange,
Lord Jamar's a little different because
multi-day interview segments with Sway Calloway, and whenever I said whatever I said on the pod, it's a moment in time. We had our exchange. It's over. This isn't the first time.
The Eminem, let me just say this: the Lord Jamar one's a little different, just because Lord Jamar kept actively and blatantly talking about M, and a lot of that had to do with Vlad TV's line of questions, Vlad's line of question, but Vlad knew to keep it going, it was going to help him, so it kept going.
Has set his sights on a media outlet. On the 2000 track Marshall Mathers, he blasted Double XL for a negative review of the Slim Shady.
Yeah, like he'd been doing this.
And then to top it off, I walked to the newsstand, he raps, to buy this cheap little magazine with a food stamp. Skipped to the last page, flipped right fast, and what do I see? A picture of my big white. Okay, let me give you motherfuckers some help. Here, Double XL, Double XL. Now your magazine shouldn't have so much trouble to sell. Off it, I'll even buy a couple myself. So what do you guys think? Should Revolt TV drop a diss song aimed at Eminem? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button and notification.
Should Revolt drop a diss song to Eminem? What? But yeah, like I said, like he's clearly somebody who'd be sensitive about his music, and I don't think that's the worst thing in the world, honestly. I don't think that means anything, you know, out of the ordinary. But here is the newest Eminem's response to Revolt's response.
Okay guys, so get this. Eminem officially responded to Revolt TV's Q2 Eminem post, which arrived shortly after a leaked verse from Conway's 2019 single Bang hit the internet. The song found Shady dissing both Revolt and Joe Budden, but according to M, it wasn't intended to be heard. The diamond selling MC hopes this negative situation can be turned into a positive one.
I also think at this time, I didn't know how M was gonna even handle that verse being leaked. You know, it's conspiracies about why it was leaked. I don't really care why, or how, but.
On Wednesday, June 24th, M issued a statement via Twitter and explained his stance. I agree with Revolt, he begins. This is an unnecessary distraction. I never meant for that verse to be heard. I was heated in the moment and thought better of it and decided to pull it back. Stuff that I never intended to release continues to leak from the huge WeTransfer hack. I don't have any issues with Revolt. I'd actually welcome the opportunity to work with them on some positive things and turn this in a different direction.
Okay. So, it seems as if, you know, M does not stand on those statements, which is fine. Joe said in his reaction, that don't change how I feel, you know, how much I want Joe to say something back or to fight. Because in hip hop, in everything, in competition, it just makes, though this isn't new beef, right? Though behind the scenes they may be squashing it up. That's what I didn't know when that video came out. Behind the scenes they're squashing it up. If they weren't doing that and that dropped, I would have had to be like, Joe, that might be the last straw. Because even if it's old at this point, it's out and we don't know how it came out, right? So it was a weird situation. The leak in itself, leaking was weird. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I could lie and say, I don't know, or I don't want Joe to respond. I didn't, but I did. I did. Anytime something like this happens, I'm like, man. If not, I almost feel like Joe to prove a lot of people wrong too. But
the leaked verse found its way online on Sunday, June 21st. M raps, yeah, shout to Puffy Combs for Revolt. Y'all are like a f***ed up remote. Now I get it why our buttons broke, cause you press him but he don't do nothing though. Especially when it comes to punches thrown. He also takes shots at Budden with lines such as, wasted tissue, tell this journalist sticks to the stuff he knows, like always running from Migos. Here a mic, there a mic, everywhere a mic, share alike, but just don't compare alike. Instead of comparing me, pick a fair fight. Budden addressed the song on a recent episode of the Joe Budden podcast and didn't really take issue with it. This is an old verse. He said, Maul is right. You don't get offended by old verses. And two, I don't think anybody's on that right now. I don't think M is on that. I don't think my Slaughterhouse Brothers is on that. I don't think anybody's on that side right this second.
Joe, like I said in the reaction, that's kind of how I knew. That's kind of how I knew it was gonna play out. You know.
I feel safe speaking on that.
Still makes me feel like
safe speaking on that, but I do. So, what do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts.
You know, it made me feel like, even if it was a leak, it made me feel like you might have been fighting, and someone got one, like snuck you or like accidentally stuck you. But the fact was you was fighting before, so the stick is different. I don't know. I don't know if that metaphor works, but it worked in my head. Put in the comment section what you think. If you think that this all makes sense, or do you think Joe should respond anyway, or do you like Eminem's response? Do you think that he should not have took back his response? Put it in the comment section. Let me know. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. We're on the road to 300,000 subscribers. It's Screw.